We open on the title, What is Diversification? Unlocking the key to smarter investing and risk management. That quote on the slide about diversification being close to a free lunch sets the tone. It hints that risk reduction doesn't always require brilliance, just structure. Pause here and ask yourself, where am I relying on luck instead of design? And remember, the PDF handout mentioned here is linked below. Use it as a thinking companion, not a rulebook. Moving into the agenda slide, we're laying out the journey. First, why diversification exists, then how it reduces risk without killing growth, then real strategies, real limits, and real actions. This matters because many people jump straight to tactics without understanding the why. See that pattern? If you've ever copied a portfolio from the internet and felt unsure, this agenda is fixing that gap, starting with foundations before tools. On the core idea slide, the message is simple. Diversification means spreading investments across things that behave differently, not more things, but different things. That distinction trips people up. Owning 10 tech stocks feels diversified, but they often fall together. Building on the agenda's first promise, this slide reframes diversification as survival design. Ask yourself, if one part fails, does the rest still stand? Now we land on why diversification matters. The first point, markets move in cycles, means timing is unreliable. If you're betting on always being right, history disagrees. The second point, overconcentration magnifies losses, connects directly. Think 2008 real estate or 2000 tech. The third point, smoothing volatility, explains the payoff, steadier progress. So if your peace of mind rises and falls with one asset, that's the signal this slide is addressing. Next is evidence from the real world. Reduced drawdowns, small annual outperformance, institutional examples like Yale and Norway. These aren't flashy wins, they're endurance wins. This builds on the prior slide by proving diversification isn't theoretical. The common mistake? Dismissing slow advantages because they're boring. But boring is often what compounds. Are you overweight excitement and underweight durability? The building blocks slide breaks diversification into asset classes, equities for growth, bonds for stability, commodities for inflation, alternatives for non-correlation. Plain terms, each does a different job. Like nutrition, too much of one creates weakness. If your portfolio is all growth, ask, what happens when growth stalls? This slide fixes imbalance by design, not prediction. Now we reach core strategies. Asset allocation first because percentages matter more than picks. Geographic spread next because countries don't struggle at the same time. Index funds because costs quietly eat returns. Rebalancing because emotions drift portfolios off course. This slide builds directly on the asset classes slide by turning ingredients into a recipe. Question to sit with. Which of these are you avoiding because they feel too simple? Then comes the honesty slide, when diversification falls short. Systemic crises raise correlations. Over-diversification dilutes returns. Similar assets aren't true diversification. This doesn't contradict earlier slides, it completes them. The common mess-up is treating diversification as a shield against everything. It's not. It's a seatbelt, not invincibility. Are you expecting protection where only preparation is possible? On measuring diversification, we talk Sharpe ratio, correlations, and rebalancing thresholds. Translation, don't just look at returns, look at how much stress it took to get them. This builds on the pitfalls slide by offering tools instead of fear. If you've never measured risk, you're flying blind. What's one metric you could track instead of guessing? The Try This Year slide turns insight into motion. Audit exposure. Add one non-correlated asset. Use low-cost ETFs. Set one rebalancing date. Notice how small these steps are. That's intentional. Most people fail by trying to overhaul everything at once. This slide fixes that by shrinking the starting line. Which of these feels slightly uncomfortable, but doable? The reflection slide asks one quiet question. If one asset failed tomorrow, would your plan survive? This isn't dramatic, it's practical. It ties back to the core idea slide and tests it. If the answer makes you uneasy, that's not failure. That's awareness. What would you change first? Not eventually, but first. We close on the conclusion. Diversification as a philosophy, not a tactic. It prepares for reality instead of arguing with it. Consistency compounds, protection sustains. Revisit the PDF handout linked below to reinforce this structure, and if this way of thinking sharpens your decisions, subscribe so you keep building with intention. The goal isn't to beat the market every year, it's to still be standing calmly decades from now.